Let's begin by telling you that Nigeria's national power grid has collapsed again, plunging the country into a blackout just a day after a partial outage. Data from the Nigerian System Operator showed power generation dropped to 0 megawatts at 11:30 a.m. local time, impacting all 22 power plants nationwide. This latest collapse highlights ongoing challenges from the Transmission Company of Nigeria in stabilizing electricity supply. Nigeria, with over 200 million people, frequently experiences outages due to aging infrastructure, vandalism, gas shortages for its thermal plants, which produce 75% of its power. Despite having capacity for 13,000 megawatts, the grid can only distribute about a third, leaving businesses and households dependent on costly fuel generators. Reactions have continued to trail the death of the country's Chief of Army Staff. The Senate Committee on Marine Transport has indefinitely postponed its public hearing on the Nigerian Coast Guard bill originally set for November 7th. The session, which was to take place at the National Assembly Library, aimed to gather input from key maritime stakeholders on improving Nigeria's coastal security. The bill, led by Senator Wasiu Eshilokun, focuses on enhancing national and regional maritime security in line with global standards. The delay comes after the recent passing of Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, who died at the age of 56. And let's tell you that the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has directed all police officers to wear black armbands for 7 days to honor the late Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja. This gesture, announced on Thursday by Police Public Relations Officer Muyiwa Adejobi, commemorates Lagbaja's dedication and bravery in combating insurgency. The directive aligns with a national mourning order from the president, who also instructed that flags be flown at half-mast nationwide for 7 days. Egbetokun praised Lagbaja as a committed leader in Nigeria's fight against violent crime, saying he deserves to be honored by all. And now to security matters, where the Defense Headquarters has confirmed the emergence of a new terrorist group known as Lukarawas in the northwestern parts of the country. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, disclosed this while briefing newsmen on military operation on Thursday in Abuja. Buba stated that the new terror group originated in the Republic of Niger after the recent coup, which disrupted military cooperation between Nigeria and Niger. He explained that the terrorists began infiltrating northern areas of Sokoto and Kebbi states from the Niger Republic and Mali, particularly following the coup in Niger. The DHQ spokesman assured that troops have sustained intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance efforts to degrade the terrorists. Governor Caleb Mofung has assured security agencies in Plateau State that his government will do everything possible to improve the security of the state for the safety of both lives and property. The governor was speaking when he handed over some refurbished operational vehicles belonging to various security agencies in the state. Chizoba Anyonwe was there and now reports.
This seems to be the first of its kind in recent time through the history of Plateau State, where dysfunctional operational vehicles belonging to some security agencies are rather refurbished than trashed and replaced with new ones, an act many see as waste of government resources. Saving the cost for new vehicles and diverting the funds to fight insecurity in the state with judicious use of the vehicles remain the major concern for Governor Caleb Mofung, represented at the event by the Secretary to the state government.
Plateau State government is concerned about the security and welfare of its citizens. We are also working hand in hand with the security agencies. That's why you can see they are all here. So it's a partnership and so we are fulfilling our own end of the partnership. We also expect that the security agencies will use the cars for the work that they are supposed to use it for, so that they can improve the security situation in Plateau State, especially now that we're getting into the Christmas period.
The newly transferred commandant of the NSCDC to Plateau State spoke on behalf of his colleagues.
I want to thank the government for making a provision of this vehicle in order to enhance our operational activities in the state. Consequent upon this, I want to assure the Plateau State government that this vehicle will be used judiciously for the purpose at which they are meant for.
According to the contractor, among the 80 vehicles set aside for refurbishment, 21 have been completed out of the first batch of 32, while 11 orders are expected to be delivered in the coming days. The remaining 48 will afterwards be pushed into the factory to undergo the same process.
His Excellency, we thank you for the privilege and opportunity you have given unto us to use our experience to bring into reality what we are used to do that we have been doing over the year. We can continue this kind of a thing instead of using cars and throwing them away. We can repair them and they function very well.
While the security agencies remain grateful to the state government for this gesture they have done today, they are expecting that sooner than later, the remaining vehicles will also be given out to them in continuation of their fight against insecurity in and around the state. In Jos for News Central, Chizoba Anyowe.
The Federal Capital Territory Police Command has arrested 23 persons suspected of being involved in various crimes ranging from one-chance scams, armed robbery and car theft. The FCT Commissioner of Police, during a press conference in Abuja, says a total of 23 exhibits, including 13 vehicles, were recovered from the suspect. Edoyin Joseph has details.
Among those paraded includes 32-year-old Aji from Goza in Borno State, 40-year-old Amobi from Agu in Enugu State, and 26-year-old Amechi from Imo State. All three suspects were arrested for their alleged involvement in armed robbery and car snatching. The police says that two members of the gang, allegedly led by one Chidebere, who is currently at large, are ex-convicts and have been under the command's surveillance.
This particular gang operates within the Federal Capital Territory, Nasarawa, Kaduna, and Kano states. Their mode of operation includes following suspects to areas that are very, very conducive for them, where they will strike and depossess them of their vehicles.
In a surprising twist, one suspect denied involvement in any crime, while another claims that he was unaware that the vehicle he was given by Chidebere to sell was stolen.
I was going to my sister place at Karimo, so it was around 11, around 10 to 11. So as I was going, I saw some vigilante men pursuing somebody. So at the end, they joined me that I know who is they are calling Chidebere. That I came with Chidebere. I told them I don't know which Chidebere.
Chidebere give me car to sell the car. So he won't sell the car, call the buyer. As we call the buyer, we come price the motor. So we call him to come make him come bring the papers. The papers no there.
Additionally, 12 members of a one-chance syndicate gang specialized in robbing unsuspecting passengers of their belongings were arrested. Several vehicles were also recovered from the gang.
These one-chance operators were all arrested with knives, with which they must have been stabbing members of the public before collecting their phones and before collecting their monies from them.
Upon questioning, some suspects admit to their crime, but claimed that they have turned a new leaf.
We saw some DSS, some Yahoo boys inside vehicle, then we stopped them. We asked them to come outside. So when they came outside, now said, are you a Yahoo boys? They accept. So they said, sir, we don't want to go to the office. Let's just settle here and everybody go his ways apart.
The police have called on citizens who have had their cars stolen to visit the commands to ascertain if they are among the batch of recovered vehicles. In Abuja for News Central, I am Idong Joseph.
Time for a break. When we return, Nigerian maritime stakeholders raise concerns on bank system upgrade. Details shortly. Join us again. Thank you for staying tuned. Nigerian maritime stakeholders have raised concerns on the many cargoes that are currently trapped at the Apapa and Tinkan port following persistent disruptions to online services of some commercial banks in Nigeria due to the upgrade of their electronic banking portals. Investigations confirm that many import units of containers have not been cleared because their clearance documents are still trapped in some banks due to ongoing network migration issues. Many jobs are stuck because the moment an agent captures a job in a bank, he cannot move the job to another bank. These concerns are made because of the looming congestion and hike in the cost of goods this may cause. And for more on this, we're joined by Adeyin Bakari, President General, Nigeria Association of Air Freight Forwarders and Consolidators, to help understand these issues with clearance. Good evening. Glad to have you join me on the news.
Good evening. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you. Let me start by asking what your thoughts are regarding implication of these bank disruption on cargo clearance.
Okay. The implication, looking at the season we are getting to now, we are getting towards the Christmas season. We have a lot of cargoes at the port. We have a lot of people to pick up their cargoes and all those stuff. And from the look of things and what we are experiencing now, there's going to be high cost of materials to a layman on the street, because before you could even capture and you make process of your payment that shouldn't take more than 2-3 hours before. It's not taking days, 7 days, 8 days, 10 days before you get. And the importers or the shipper have to pay demurrage. And whether we like it or not, that cost will come on an average man on the road, the street of Nigeria. So it's a huge this thing. And there is congestion right now as we speak. The whole port is being congested because people could not pick their cargoes. Payments are not coming the way it is. So it's a big concern here.
Well, you talked about clearance taking up to 7 days, leading to increase in costs of goods. You know, what do you think, in your own opinion, can be done to help solve this issue?
Okay, like we've suggested before, the idea of having to open a form with a particular bank and you can't pay the duty in another bank is a big issue. I think because of this, what we are experiencing now, it shows that I can open for them with Zenith Bank and I pay with Union Bank and look at whatever means that is faster and is better for me to. It's not compulsory that I open a form with a particular bank and the payment of duty has to be from that bank. And I think that really needs to be looked into now that we are experiencing this, so that we could have a faster means of clearance at the ports.
Now, we understand, or we've seen reports that demurrage payments that cargo owners are required to pay can affect cost of goods as well as causing congestion. How more or less is this true?
It is like now, I have a fast track that I need to pick. Naturally, fast tracks don't take me more than 72 hours to pick out of the port. But now it's the 8 days of the fast track. Then automatically I have to pay demurrage. If additional 4 days demurrage is a whole lot on, let me say, 10 or 20 boxes on the port, which runs into millions of naira. Automatically, the shipper is going to add that to part of his cost, and it's going to have an adverse effect on average Nigerians on the road. So the shipper is not going to burn that cost, it's going to really move it down to the cost of its importation and clearance from the port. So automatically goods, you could say, even if the rates are coming down, the goods are still very expensive in the market. And this is one of those causes.
Well, since stakeholders calling on government to introduce compensatory law on cargo delays, which they say it's not their fault, do you see this having any impact consequentially going forward?
You see, it has nothing to do with who is at fault here. It has something to do with who should be blamed and let's take for instance now, if the fault is from the freight forwarder, automatically you will see the shipper or the consignee coming to the freight forwarder and taking the blame on you, or probably taking the fault or the expenses back to you. But in this case, this fault is coming from the bank. Then they should be able to take that responsibility. They should be able to say, okay, we are compensating you. I have a payment that is going to take just 2 hours, and that payment is taking another 72 hours. 72 hours is a long time for us to process and make good use of the time. But here we are, the payment is hanging, the payment is not dropping, or you have this thing, it's a whole lot. So there should be a government system of customer service relation that you could complain to, and that complaint could be looked into, like Shippers Council could look into and really ask the bank to compensate in these areas.
Well, indeed, we pray, we hope a lasting solution is found to delay in clearance of goods at our port. Well, thank you indeed for your time on the news. Adeyin Bakari, President General, Nigerian Association of Air Freight Forwarders and Consolidators. Many thanks indeed.
Thank you very much.
Ahead of the November 16 Ondo governorship election, the Independent National Electoral Commission has confirmed that sensitive election materials will arrive in Akure by Tuesday, November 12th. Addressing stakeholders at a pre-election meeting held in Akure, INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu announced that all sensitive materials, including ballots, boxes, and result sheets, will be delivered to the Central Bank of Nigeria's Akure branch by early next week. According to Yakubu, the election materials will be inspected by political party representatives and other stakeholders to ensure transparency before being distributed to local government and wards across the state. Yakubu stressed that INEC is committed to well-organized and credible election process, noting that all logistical arrangements for the safe delivery and distribution of materials have been completed. And now to judicial matters, where an FCT High Court in Maritime, Abuja, is set to rule on Friday, November 8th, on whether Edo State Governor-elect Senator Monday Okpewolo submitted false information to INEC regarding his eligibility for September 2024 governorship election. The case, filed by PDP member Mr. Honesty Agimbatse, alleges discrepancies in Okpewolo's birth dates in INEC documents, raising concerns about his eligibility under the 1999 Constitution. Okpewolo's lawyer, Andrew Mwata, argued that this is a pre-election matter falling under Federal High Court jurisdiction as per the Electoral Act of 2022. Mwata also challenged Agimbaste's right to prosecute the matter, asserting only INEC attorneys have that authority. The court's verdict on the case is in continuation as anticipated. In the meantime, a Kano State High Court has issued an order to prevent federal agencies from interfering with monthly funds allocated to Kano's 44 local government councils. The ruling, made on Monday by Justice Ibrahim Musa Mohammed, followed an ex parte motion filed by members of the National Union of Local Government Employees, NOLGE, and other concerned citizens. The court authorized 7 documents on the Accountant General's Office, Central Bank of Nigeria, Revenue Mobilization Commission, and 8 banks. Justice Mohammed's interim injunction bars these agencies from withholding or altering the funds until further court proceedings. The case, highlighting concerns over delayed local allocations, is scheduled for a November 21st hearing. Abia State's Governor Alex Oti has renamed Abia State Polytechnics, Abia, to Dr. Bonaya Onu Polytechnics, Abia. The governor announced these on Thursday during the commendation service for Dr. Onu, the former civilian governor of Abia State, who recently passed away. News Central's Chinwe Ugele reports that there were lots of encomiums poured by the people at a service which was held at the Ochendo International Conference Center in Umuahia.
State government organized the commendation service in honor of late Bonaya Onu, the first civilian governor of the state. His family, political associates and friends inside this hall came to identify with him in death. The Catholic Bishop of Umuahia Diocese, His Lordship Michael Okpong, in his reflection, reminded all to emplace legacies that will outlive them.
His time is up before God, as it will be for each and every one of us. Each person has his own appointed time to leave this world. He has been before us in the casket is a reminder to each and every one of us what the end looks like. Nobody escapes it. But what is important is what do you go from here with?
Although in office as governor for a year and 8 months, between 1992 and 1993, lots of people testify to the many impacts he made while in office. Former governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi, describes him.
Gentleman, honest man, integrity. These are the words that suit him.
Governor Alex Otti, in his remarks, noted that Onu possessed qualities to be the nation's president, recounting all his numerous achievements as governor.
Dr. Onu's administrative journeys inspired the setting up of the Abia State Polytechnic, Abia, the Abia State College of Education Technical, Arochukwu, the National Ambassador newspaper. It is also important to recall that it was under Governor that the Federal University of Agriculture, UNICEF, now Michael Bokara University of Agriculture, was established.
Governor Otti thereafter announced the renaming of Abia Polytechnic, Abia.
We as a state have taken the decision to immortalize him by renaming the Abia State Polytechnic, Abia, after him. Polytechnic will henceforth be known as Dr. Bonaya Onu Polytechnic, Abia.
The first son of late Bonaya Onu Obiora, who says he misses his dad, says his father lived a life of sacrifice.
He lived for humanity, he lived for Nigeria, he gave so much to Nigeria, and hopefully he inspired people to follow in his footsteps.
Bonaya Onu's last assignment was as a Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation in the Muhammadu Buhari's administration. In Umuahia for News Central, I am Chinwe Ugele.
As part of efforts to improve the educational system in northern Nigeria, UNICEF has announced plans to deploy technology to help out-of-school children in Borno and Yobe State. This initiative, part of the Nigerian Learning Passport Program, aims to provide accessible learning materials and educational tools to children who have been affected by conflict, displacement and poverty. News Central's Umaru Kirawa has details.
A quiz competition for students across both public and private schools enrolled in the Nigerian Learning Passport Program of the United Nations Children's Fund in Maiduguri.
Without this, Nigerian students cannot know what is digital technology. They will not know, they will not be enlightened and they will not be educated. Like, for instance, this flood that happened, if there was digital technology, our classes would have been online, but we stayed home for 2 weeks. So if digital technology was around, we would have been online, would have been updated.
I have went through their courses, all of the courses, and they gave us a paper for the spelling bee. We appreciate their effort because we have learned a lot.
This is a great pleasure to me to express my profound appreciation to them. Surely, the knowledge I acquired here today in this program has shaped my academic career toward the version of my academic excellence.
The program aims to bridge the education gap by utilizing mobile learning apps, online courses, and digital resources.
The NLP, Nigerian Learning Passport, as a digital platform, is very conducive for learners who are also out of school, so that if they do not have an opportunity to access school, either the formal schools or non-formal learning platforms, they can be able to use this platform to be able to access learning wherever they are, as long as they have a telephone, as long as they have connectivity. But we also acknowledge the fact that in the rural areas, because we are also reaching out of school children in the rural areas, we are coming up with the platform that supports offline connectivity.
The Nigerian Learning Passport is a digital learning platform which has free access to localized content and enables quality teaching and learning.
Platform has over 15,000 teaching and learning materials. So these materials are aligned to the national curriculum, but at the same time we have other resources that are outside the curriculum that are very resourceful for children and teachers if they want to learn more.
By integrating technology into education, UNICEF aims to ensure that children who are out of school due to displacement or other challenges are not left behind. By working with the state government, the initiative targets to access the out-of-school children and improve the educational system. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
And now to health matters, where the Lagos state government says it must keep increasing its readiness in preventing and containing disease outbreak. This was made known at the 10th African Conference on One Health and Biosecurity themed From Ebola to COVID-19 and Beyond, strengthening Africa's capacity to address emerging challenges. News Central's Omolola Ololade tells us more in this report.
State being the epicenter of COVID-19 in Nigeria in 2020, following the Ebola outbreak in 2014, created a policy on emergency preparedness and biosecurity to make outbreak response effective going forward. Keying into that policy, the 10th African Conference on One Health and Biosecurity, organized by the Lagos State Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the Global Emerging Pathogens Treatment, provided the opportunity to discuss and strategize on Africa's capacity to address emerging global health security threats.
It's very important for us to have platform, a transdisciplinary platform where we can bring experts on the continent together to discuss emerging biosecurity threats and disease outbreaks in Africa, and to see how we can come up with indigenous African-led solutions to address these challenges.
Beyond overwhelming the health sector, pandemics such as COVID-19 affected all sectors of the economy, making it an urgent priority for cities like Lagos to keep increasing its readiness while becoming resilient against future disease outbreaks.
A major outbreak in a city like Lagos will positively affect the economic needs of a lot of people in the West African zone, cause disruption in social order, and the risk of undoing decades of progress. Recognizing this reality, we have taken decisive steps to bolster our health security.
The responsibility of government is to preempt, to prevent, to predict, to mitigate, to adapt, to find and clearly identify a threat early and to stop it promptly. Integrated biosecurity and One Health is a way of life, an emerging concept that Lagos wants to promote aggressively across agencies responsible for health, environment and sanitation, agriculture, urban city planning, which is clearly depicted in our themes plus agenda.
Emergency preparedness towards epidemics and pandemics play a critical role in preventing and containing outbreaks, hence the need for continued readiness by relevant stakeholders. In Lagos, for News Central, I am Omolola Ololade.
Nigeria Diaspora Investment Summit is holding its 7th edition in Abuja, and News Central TV is on ground to cover proceedings. The 3-day summit, which ends today, focuses on sectors identified as crucial for attracting investment and spurring growth in Nigeria. And this include finance, ICT, fintech, the creative industry, sports and entertainment, agribusinesses, healthcare, education, real estate and infrastructure, as well as manufacturing and mining. Our business correspondent, Perpetua Fasime Peter, who spoke with Abike Dabiru Erawa, chairperson, Nigerian Diaspora Commission, earlier on the news.
The talents that we have in this country, the passion that we have in this country, and people that want to just do their businesses. So we've given them a platform to showcase their pitches and also get investors, and we're seeing results. Deals have been made, and a lot of people have had their businesses showcased. And look at even all the way from America, the White House Diaspora Advisory Council came in here to say, we want to support what you're doing in NITCOM. So that's our own little contribution to encourage the diaspora to come and see what they can do at home. So it's different from other kind of investment summits because of the pitching sessions in particular, and because of the exposure and the deals that are close. So far.
Thank you for staying with us. In Southern Africa, several thousands of people have taken to the streets of Mozambique capital Maputo after the main leader called for demonstrations against election results. Small fires, lit and rubbish bins are overturned in the middle of a main street before armed members of the security forces arrive to disperse the protesters and debris and put out the fire. The Southern African nation has been rocked by violence since the October 9 vote won by the Frelimo party, which has been in power for almost 50 years. Leading opposition leader Valencio Mondlane, who says the results were false and that he won, called for a mass protest on Thursday, telling AFP in an interview that it was a crucial moment for the country.
É muita adrenalina, mas vale a pena, dá medo, dá. Estamos todos aqui a tremer, de vez em quando saímos a correr, mas vai valer a pena. Estamos aqui, queremos Venâncio e acabou.
Eu acho que isto não é muito pelo Venâncio, é mais pela mudança. O Venâncio é a voz do povo, é mais pela mudança. É mudança mesmo, porque assim não está a funcionar. Estão a vender todos os recursos, estão a vender tudo, mega projetos só para o bolso deles, em vez de só para o povo. Ou mudam e pensam no povo, ou o país não anda.
O nosso principal destino seria a presidência, mas nós estamos a ver que não estão nos deixar nós prosseguirmos até a zona da presidência.
Nós queremos mudança, só isso. Só mudança. Ninguém quer guerra aqui. Não estamos à procura de desmontar nada de ninguém.
In Central Africa, Equatorial Guinea's President Obiang Nguema Mbasogo has reportedly appointed Zenog Obiang Avomo as the new Director General of the National Agency for Financial Investigation. He replaced Baltasar Ngoga following a shocking sex scandal involving public officials. And this was disclosed in a news report on Thursday by a media outlet based in Equatorial Guinea. The leadership change follows Ngoga's arrest amid allegations that he recorded over 400 explicit videos involving the wives of prominent figures in Equatorial Guinea. The discovery of the videos reportedly occurred during an impromptu search by ANIF officials investigating financial irregularities tied to Ngoga, a well-known economist. Supporters of Cameroon's President Paul Biyas have celebrated 42 years of his rule in the country with rallies, broadcasts and calls for his 8th term. The 91-year-old returned to Cameroon 2 weeks ago after a 6-week absence, sparking health speculations. Secretary General of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, Jean Nkwete, urged party members to unite behind Biyas for the country's stability and progress. In a recent letter, he praised Biyas' fantastic record and condemned speculation about his health. The letter also emphasized Cameroon's respect for elders and called for support for Biyas' candidacy in next October's election. Party branches, including in the west and southern town of Adebola, have rallied behind the call for Biyas' continued leadership.
Je ne voudrais pas revenir sur des considérations d'ordre polémique qui ont été entretenues ces derniers temps. Nous allons tout simplement dire que ce 42e anniversaire est un moment de réflexion pour tous les Camerounais. même si c'est le parti au pouvoir qui fête.
C'est l'occasion pour nous aujourd'hui de lui dire joyeux anniversaire et de l'interpeller pour qu'il se présente une fois de plus, n'est-ce pas, aux élections présidentielles à venir. C'est une interpellation forte.
Des signes justement des 42 ans de règne du président Biyas qui a ouvert démocratiquement notre pays et qui a su valoriser les idéaux justement d'unité nationale.
U.S. President Joe Biden has said he will ensure a peaceful and orderly transition to Donald Trump after Republicans' sweeping election victory. Biden said this in an interview or address to the nation from the White House. The U.S. president also urged Americans to lower the political temperature after Donald Trump's sweeping election win. Georg Kukis has been appointed as Germany's new finance minister on Thursday, as pressure mounts on Chancellor Olaf Scholz to call for a confidence vote and trigger snap elections after the dissolution of his ruling three-way coalition. Kukis replaces Christian Lindner, whom Scholz sacked on late Wednesday, citing the need to protect Germany from economic damage. The Chancellor also called Lindner out for allegedly not caring about the common good and said there was no longer any basis of trust to continue working together. Meanwhile, the chairman of the Liberal FDP party and now former finance minister, Christian Lindner, is calling for federal elections as soon as possible.
Das Richtige für unser Land wäre die sofortige Vertrauensfrage und Neuwahlen. Niemand darf in der Demokratie Angst vor den Wählerinnen und Wählern haben. Rasche Neuwahlen nach der gescheiterten Regierung Scholz sind im Übrigen nicht nur für die Demokratie wichtig. Unser Land darf keine Zeit verlieren. Die Bürgerinnen und Bürger müssen nun die Möglichkeit haben, Richtungsentscheidungen für ihre Zukunft selbst zu treffen.
An Israeli strike on southern Lebanese city of Sidon has killed 3 Lebanese citizens and wounded 3 Lebanese soldiers and 4 Malaysian personnel from UNICEF forces on Thursday. In a statement by the army, the strike targeted a car while it was passing a checkpoint, which led to the killing of the 3 Lebanese who were inside it. According to the army statement, the UNICEF members who were struck were in a UN peacekeeping force vehicle that was going through the checkpoint at the time, but the injured soldiers had been serving at the checkpoint. In business, the Bank of Ghana has confirmed that as long as government of Ghana GOG bonds remain liquid, the liquidity risks in the country's banking sector are manageable. Stress and testing conducted in a liquid bond market indicated that most banks could withstand daily deposit withdrawals of up to 4% over a period of 30 days. However, they would face challenges if liquidity of GOG bonds were to diminish. In the world of sports, with 2 days until the kickoff of the 4th edition of the CAF Women's Championship League in Morocco this weekend, CAF has given the competition a new look. The trophy-inspired logo symbolizes the tenacity and excellence of African women's clubs, using the bold colors of CAF women's football visual identity like purple, orange, and pink to represent royalty, innovation, youthful energy across the continent. Meanwhile, each of the 8 African women football clubs that are participating in the competition will receive at least $150,000 in prize money. The CAF Women's Champions League is a new competition that was started under the new leadership of Dr. Patrice Motsepe in 2021, and this year's prize money has increased by 52% to over $2.3 million. The winner will receive $600,000. Edoyin have touched down in Morocco for the CAF Women's Champions League, arriving to a warm and welcoming reception from their host. The Nigerian champions left for Casablanca, Morocco, early on Thursday morning to represent the country at the 2024 tournament, which runs from 6 to 23rd November. After arriving in Lagos on Wednesday, the team promised to bring the trophy home. They are set in Group B alongside South Africa's Mamelodi Sundowns, Egypt's FC Massa, and Ethiopia's CBE, with their first match against CBE on November 10th. Quadri Aruna run at the WTT champions in Frankfurt came to an end in the round of 16 after a tough 3-2 loss to Germany's Ricardo Walther. The Nigerians started strong, winning the first set 11-9, but Walther bounced back to take the second set at 11-6. Aruna regained his composure in the third, dominating 11-4, but couldn't maintain the momentum, dropping the fourth set 7-11. In the 10th fifth set, Walther held his nerve to secure the win 12-10, ending Aruna's hopes of advancing. Aruna, currently ranked world number 21, had earlier caused a stir by stunning Japan's world number 8, Tomokazu Harimoto, with a thrilling 3-2 comeback in his opening match. That victory marked his second at the WTT champions, following a victory at Montepella just the week before. And that's all on the news. Let's take a look again at some of the major stories. National grid collapses again, day after partial collapse. Court set to rule on Okpewolo's election eligibility case on Friday. Supporters celebrate Paul Biyas' 42 years rule in Cameroon. You can watch News Central live on DSTV, channel 422, Star Times, channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Adebola Adedugba.